Stan Gibilisco here from the Black Hills of South Dakota. Another high definition video for you. If you have a 1920 by 1080 display, 1080p high definition, look at it. Look at this video on that display. It'll give you the most detail. It's really quite amazing that YouTube can bring that back down like that. I've seen it, I've checked it out, so it does work if you have the right kind of display. But what I'd like to show you right now is another website relating to weather and climate. So we'll go to my incognito on Google. By the way, I believe that I may have endured a hack attempt on my Google account just a couple days ago. If you get some kind of a little blurb up here in the right hand part of your screen when you open your browser, the upper right corner, telling you that your password or your account information is out of date and you need to enter your password, don't. In fact, I'd advise you to kill the browser immediately, go to another computer, change your Google account password. I have a feeling, because it's only happened a couple times. It only happened on that one computer upstairs too. But what I'd like to take you to now, I'm adding these as bookmarks as we go. This is the National, actually I believe it's the NOAA, National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center. I just happened to notice this link on the Storm Prediction Center. And as usual, I will zoom in on here because it only takes up a part of this big screen. I can zoom up to 250%. United States Seasonal Drought Outlook. Drought persists or intensifies. Well, over much of the Southwest, they're expecting that, and also over western Texas. You can look at the map. You know the states, don't you? Black Hills, I'm right there. So we're not expecting it really there. Drought development likely. Drought removal likely. Well, southern Minnesota, southwestern Minnesota. Well, they're getting severe thunderstorm watches and warnings there right now. In fact, a lot of this region right here is enduring the wrath of winter storm whatever more, which is turning into spring storm whatever more for them. Or spring storm, watch out for tornadoes. You know, it seems when I was in Minnesota, it was June that was the real big month for that kind of weather. And this, now we're seeing it coming in May. When I lived in Rochester, Minnesota, it seemed like the first half of May was always cold and rainy, you know, in the 50s or maybe even the 40s, and rainy and gloomy. Then it would turn sunny and beautiful and dry for the rest of May, and then in June, the thunderstorms would hit. Now they seem to be taking place sooner, which would kind of suggest that there has, in fact, been some climate change taking place. I don't know to what extent. Let's see, quarterly newsletter. Now you can explore this site for yourself. I will provide a link to it. It's www.cpc.ncep.noaa.gov. Maybe you can read it up there, but I'll provide a link for you at the explanation of this video. El Nino, La Nina. Now they first began to talk about that in the 1980s. I remember when I lived in Florida, and the El Nino would cause, meaning the child, that's what that literally means, I believe. It has to do with the Christ child, I think. And La Nina means the female child, I guess. But which is the opposite of El Nino. I don't know why they chose El Nino for the warm waters off the coast, western coast of the United States and the eastern Pacific, and the La Nina for the cold waters there, but it reverses on the other side of the Pacific. Interesting stuff, though. Sea surface temperature map. Oh, well, that's very interesting. It looks like a loop. Now, see the warmest weather over there. And there's warm water over here too, and that may indicate an El Nino. But it's really very hard to say. I don't really have enough experience with this, but if you do, or if you just like to look at cool pictures, this is a great site map. Climate change. I wonder whether climate change is in here anywhere. Climate assessment, maybe global warming. Let's check out global warming. Well, they seem to be shying away from that as a direct topic. Global Ocean Data Assimilation System, GODAS. Very, very interesting. Let's see, climatology animations. Wow. Surface zonal wind stress. Are we getting anything? Submit. Wow, can you understand this stuff? Dyne per centimeter. And I can't read that exponent, can you? Well, probably dyne per centimeter squared. But, well, it looks like the greatest is somewhere out here in the Pacific. I remember, living in Hawaii and having the prevailing winds be quite significant on the Big Island at times. Surface net heat flux. Submit. Watt per meter cubed. It must be a cubed here, okay. Well, maybe, I don't know. Heat flux, that would have to be squared. Well, this only has to do with the oceans. It's ignoring the continents. But one thing about climate, I wonder if there's a search box. Let's just look in here. I'm interested in climate change because this week, the week of May, it's May 8th, Thursday, so this week they really have, what is climate change? PDF. Well, you can click on that and get it for yourself. Well, no, let me try that. I mean, I'm working on a screen capture. Climate change. What is climate change? Let's make that a full screen there. What is climate change? Is a long-term shift in the statistics of the weather. Why is the climate changing? Well, why do you think it's changing? They're saying it's part of the Earth's natural variability. That's something that I wanted to bring up. That we, human beings, have relatively short lifespans. When you look at the eons and ages of the Earth. And we may make assumptions or come to conclusions that aren't necessarily true. Just because we think that change has occurred during our lifetime, and it may be just part of a gigantic cycle. But where can you find more information? Well, these links probably work. Global Change Master Directory. Is that going to take me anywhere? Yes, of course I trust the government. It's trying to take me to... Well, it's taken me to a window that's not showing up in this screen. Oh, well, sorry for all this imprecision here, but we can go back to the... go back to the regular National Weather Service site. Go back to the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center. And you decide to what extent we should be concerned about climate change, to what extent the consequences are likely to be bad, to what extent they're likely to be possibly beneficial in some ways, and what can we actually do without destroying our economy and making ourselves a laughingstock of the rest of the world, and particularly China. what can we actually do to mitigate the problem? Or are we just going to have to live with it? We will survive it. Are we just going to have to hunker down and live with what comes, or what? Stan Gibilisco signing off from the nerd cave where I think about these things, but I really can't do anything about it. Can I? Well, I can vote in the next election, but I doubt that's really going to make any difference. Do you think it's going to make any difference? Vote anyway. Till next time, so long.